Hey folks, it's me, and we're going to talk a little bit this week, about the writing process in particular. I've been going over Cursed still, and a couple things have really stood out at me as I'm going through the story. The first of which, as I mentioned last week, is the difficulty in having to break up a polyamorous, I guess, family or whatever the appropriate term is for it, and then replace that content with something better, or just keep it out. You know, where do you fill in the details? The second thing of which occurred to me when I was going to get this little thing, because I wanted it badly, and I can, despite what it does to me. And that's that today, in particular, you guys don't see a fan behind me like you did the last video, and the reason for that has to do with the fact that maintenance came over. When there's somebody else here and routine is interrupted, I can't work. Not the way that I normally do, where I'm focused on the keys and on the screen and whatnot like that. And the guy was mucking around in my closet on the balcony because he had to take a look and fix the air conditioner. Also, he had to go into the bathroom because the shower was fucking up on me too. And I wasn't really happy with either of those things, but he had to be here. And then when I went to get this Coke and go talk to them about the bug problem that I wanted to prevent, I'm still spinning the story in my head and going, okay, so all this stuff that's on the screen here that I've just cut out, what can I pull out of it? What can I remove? And what can I keep? Or how can I keep it? Because a lot of it's good stuff. I just noticed it as I was going through some of the things that I had cut. There's a lot of good content in there that does actually forward the emotional development of the story. So even though I wrote this thing 10 years ago, it still has a pretty solid emotional development, which it's me, so it would, totally. But I wanted to, I guess, mention to some of you who are new at this still, working in an industry the way you're creative, primarily for writers, work time is not measured by how much time you sit in this chair, or a better one hopefully, and sit with your hands on the keyboard. I have over here, not this one, you know what, I'll go get it, because it's only on the damn desk over there. Let me go get this notepad for you. A lover of mine could not help herself and got me this Moleskine, and in it all of my notes for, in particular, this is Cursed, but other stories that I've worked on in here. And sometimes I'll go to the Cigar Club and I'll have to actually take both of these, because this one is for my novel things, creative writing ideas and other things, and then I've got another one, and I think she gave this one to me also, but it's, if I recall correctly, hard to open apparently, fucking strap. This video won't be monetized, by the way, because I've said fuck twice, 3 times now, fuck it. But anyway, tasting notes on cigars and alcohol, and they go with me everywhere. And at that particular time, in that environment, I tend to be smoking and drinking cigars and scotch or whatever I got in hand. But my point is that work is not measured necessarily by how much time you spend in this chair. Your brain as a creative is still going to go and go and go. I have, not anymore, but I used to have notepads that had just random ideas on them. I totally missed that. Have taken story ideas and written them down on napkins at Cigar Bars in the past. I did it a lot of Occidental, actually, because I wanted to feel productive, and I kind of at one point reminisced for that artist lifestyle bullshit that people put out there about how you have to be in a bar and struggle, and someone else is buying you low-end whiskey and you're smoking a $2 cigar because you can't afford to smoke a real one. Whatever. Anyway, did that, burned out, got the t-shirt. You can't tell because I've only had the same shirt on every video. But anyway, wanted that to come across. Back to this now. I'm shaping up to do a lot more with the story and take it in like I said last time, a different direction. And if I keep cutting, it looks like it might actually be about 10,000 words shorter, whereas I initially wanted to add 10,000 words and make it longer because I wanted to do more with it. But I'm really nailing down, first of all, who my real villain in the story is, because I forgot completely in the second chapter. I had realized that I hinted at different things, but apparently 10 years ago when I wrote the story, I didn't actually know who the hell the villain was. I knew that Livia and Joseph were supposed to get sick in the story. I knew that it might be because of, I haven't decided honestly if they were going to die off or if it was just going to be one of those life and death, pull your heartstrings things, or if it was going to be that, with the end goal being that when the werewolf and the vampire queen get together and they finally sleep together and start forming and forging that bond. I didn't know if that was my way of saying, if God, goddess, whatever higher power you want to believe in, saying, you now have to purge all this out of your system, but you have your humanity back. I didn't know that. I also only knew that I wanted Isabella and Istvan to get together. I know that in the future, after I finish this series, and I finish one more thing I'm doing, I'm going to stop using foreigners' names. Probably not. Who am I kidding? But that's how I was thinking about the story from the time when I wrote it initially. I knew it needed to be a continuation. I knew that I needed to bring in this very, very young girl who was also part of the triad that I was going to leave behind in the story with it'd be Kissa, Livia, and Joseph. But Kissa was going to suffer a lot more because she's going to have to be taking care of her lovers who are dying almost, it seems, and treating them. And let's be honest about it, how would you feel if you were 20-something years old, barely, and you just were pulled out of your home country and mated with a man who was a good number of years older, but also you become his caretaker? Because he can lead a pack to war and victory, he can put your village right, he can do all these other things, but he's got his own demons to deal with, and you've got to then take on that responsibility too, even though he tries to hide it from you. So I wanted this to be a really, really dynamic romance, but I didn't, obviously, 10 years ago have it all in motion for it to go through. Matter of fact, one of my beta readers pretty much just asked a bunch of questions on the story and let it, as it was written, slide. Even though I realized that, number one, you need to have read Endangered to get the gist of the story and the background as to why Isabella and Livia are no longer going to be a couple potentially if I go that route. And you need to understand, you need to have also read Separated Self, which is a new title, because that will give you the where Kissa came from. That's all I knew. That's really all I had down. But now I've got a lot more. Now I've got Scrivener up here, which is letting me put plot points into place and figure out this is where it needs to go here, this needs to go there, all according to the older plotting form I use in my head, but it's one that Morgan Hawk gave me years ago. And on top of that, I'm really thinking, just epiphany, I may just cut this down to 60,000 or 70,000 words. Just get right to the point. You guys got some thoughts on that? Do you want a longer story? I was gonna make it 95,000, but I'm thinking go to 70,000 instead. It's going to City Lights because they got the previous one. Thoughts on that? Are you still reading paranormal romance anymore? Let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and go now so I can get back to it. But if you like the videos, if you enjoyed them, please like and subscribe. Share links with your friends, tell everybody you can, and please, honestly, the last thing I will add, I'm only asking for $1, so if you've got it, my Patreon contribution link is down below. Sign up, it doesn't pull to the first of the month only, and like I said, even $1 helps. So for that, thank you, and cheers.